Okay, Tacoma's back in the shop today, and today what I'm going to be doing is the U-joints on the drive shaft. There's 3 U-joints on this drive shaft, and there's a carrier bearing. So I've got, these U-joints have actually been replaced before. 2 of them are not bad, 1 of them is not good, and it just squeaks like crazy. It's still tight and firm, but it just squeaks like crazy. The carrier bearing is also going, so I'm going to just replace all of those. What I'm going to replace with is Moog. I don't know how you say that. These are greasable U-joints, and that's actually, I think, what's on the truck right now, but they're pretty old. So I'm going to put these guys on. I got like one of those paint markers to mark the drive shaft when I take it off, so that I put it back on the same way so it's still in balance. And I also got a new carrier bearing from Rock Auto. I generally, like, if I'm going to replace a part, I usually try and get the best part I can without spending a fortune at the dealer. So this is a Rock Auto part, and I think it was around I don't know, $80 or $100 or something Canadian. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'm under the truck right now, and this is the guy that's no good, this little U-joint here, what connects the drive shaft to the rear axle, the pumpkin. And the problem I'm having with it is that it's got a grease fitting in it. I just can't, it won't accept grease. I put the grease gun on it and I squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and it will not accept grease. I've tried replacing that Zerk fitting, and I've also tried heating up the whole thing, and it still just won't accept grease. And now I'm finding, you probably can't see it, but there's like little plastic pieces inside, and a few of them are cracked. So it's time. It's had a good life, but it's time to get replaced. So that's the bad one, really. I've got the truck jacked up on jack stands, and it's just like an inch off the ground, or just the rear is an inch off the ground or so. And that's just so that I can rotate this drive shaft when I need to. So we're gonna pull out those bolts. This U-joint is actually not bad. It still accepts grease. However, if I can just position this, check out the play in this guy. Ooh, it's actually hard to see, but there's quite a bit of play in it. And when I'm driving, I can actually hear the drive like rattling around. So I'm going to replace that carrier bearing here, and then the very front U-joint. This U-joint and this middle U-joint is really, they're working fine. They still accept grease, and I don't hear any noises from them, but since I'm here and I have to remove a bunch of stuff just to get to this carrier bearing, I may as well just replace the U-joint. The U-joints are like 20 bucks. Oh, hello. What are you doing? Tiny visitor. So that's that. So let's get to it. All right, so the way I'm doing this, I'm just using my impact with an extension, and that's letting me get up in there, and I can just grab this with an open end wrench and just back it off. Nice and easy. And then these bolts are coming out. Now, I guess it's a good thing, but also a bad thing. No, it's a good thing, but it's an inconvenient thing. But I've just had the truck sprayed with oil for like the rust proofing. And so the whole thing is like super slimy right now. So I'm just kind of wrestling with the fact that oil is like dripping everywhere. Okay, so now I just rotate and do the next one. And keep going like that until they're all broken free. So I want this drive shaft to go back in the same position with this yoke, with this part of the flange, I'm assuming. So I'm just going to mark. I mean, I guess if it's the same, it can't be bad. The yellower the better, right? I think that's what they say in the manual. And this paint thing sucks. Maybe because I'm upside down. Okay. Well, I think that's a good enough reference. Okay, so I got the drive shaft out. So our next step, we got to remove these clips here, pop them out, and I'm going to remove these Zerk fittings first before I remove the clips on this side. I have to do that for all three. Now there's a little bit of play in, it's not much, but there's a little bit of a rattle for sure in this front bearing. To get it off of the axle and break it free, I just used a rubber mallet, and it came off pretty easily. These clips, and start pushing out the bearings. So I just bought this on Amazon. It's gonna push the bearings out. It was about 75 bucks on Amazon. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use it again, so I think it was worthwhile. But yeah, it's just a generic thing. I don't think there's a brand name to it or anything. Let's see. There's no brand name or anything, and I've never used it before, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It's basically like a big C-clamp. To remove this, I'm going to use just needle nose with a bend on them, and then use a little. Now I'm holding it as I pull it off because I don't want it to like shoot across the room or into my eye. Please don't shoot into my eye. There we go. Yeah, so that's it. I'll do that all the way around. So this one had the Zerk, this end had the Zerk fitting in it, and I just removed it. This was 7mm, so a tiny wrench. And now I'm finding, on a couple of these, this has been the case where they're just, these clips are like stuck. Oh, there we go, it just came out. But if it's stuck, what I'm doing is I'm just using like a small screwdriver and just giving it a little tap with my pliers, and it seems to be like loosening up the clip where I can now get it out. I think there's just many years of gunk in here. There we go. Okay, so they're all out now. Amazing. So I'm gonna just do one U-joint at a time. I'm gonna do this one, push it out, put the new one in, then I'm gonna move to the middle one, push it out, put the new one in, change the carrier bearing, and then do that to the last one as well. So just end by end or piece by piece. Okay, slow and steady. So let's put the C-clamp on there and push that out. Okay, so I got the C-clamp on here. The end of this thing has a hole in it, and I don't know if you can see that, but the end cap will come through that hole as I push it out. I'm going to put my impact on the end. It's a 22mm. Okay, so it's totally pushed itself out now. I can put my finger in here, big gap, and I think I can just grab these guys, pull that off. Come on. There we go. Okay, it's off. Wow, look at that little thing. Not bad, not great, but not bad. Okay, let's push the whole thing apart now. Oh wow, oh my god, this is so tight. I cannot move this at all. No wonder it was squeaking. It's like completely frozen. Oh wow, that's tight. Oh wow, yeah, okay. That's not nice. Okay, let's squish out this side now. Okay, so I got it out. That C-clamp pusher thing is very, 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 very handy, and I would definitely recommend using it with an impact. It's really nice. It just pushes it right out. And so one of them gave me trouble. One of these ends gave me trouble, and as I got it apart, look at this. All the little needle bearings were just disintegrated. All of that dirt and rust and corrosion was actually in the cap. And you can see in this cap there's pretty much no needle bearings left. They went away. They all disintegrated into this little pile. So okay, I'm glad I did this, because I was looking at these U-joints and I thought, oh boy, they're greasable. They should last a long time. I don't know how old they are. They came with the truck when I bought it. But yeah, they're definitely done. So I'm happy to be doing this. So what I'm going to do is just clean up the ends of this drive shaft. I'm going to clean up these ends here, and also on that piece as well. Clean it all up, and then get ready to put the new one in. And gently assemble. Put the impact on it and just try and squish them together. I'll do this side. That is on there. Great. So now I'll just put the little clips on. The end with the Zerk fitting, the clip with, so this is the Zerk fitting side. It'll have just a different clip. The regular ones for the other sides look like that. I'll do this one first. Easy. Okay, so I got those two sides on. I got the clips on. Yeah, looks good. I put the Zerk fitting in also because I don't want dust and stuff going in there, so I put that on. Okay, so it took me a little bit, but I was able to get all the clips in and all the caps on, and make sure my paint lines are lined up there, even though they're a little bit faded now. Everything's good. Okay, so I got the two, so I've separated the center of the drive shaft, so the two pieces are now separated. I've marked them, right? This is marked on the other side somewhere, please, hopefully. Yes, okay, it's marked there. I'm gonna pull off this carrier bearing. So I was just like inspecting the new one versus the old one. And notice the new one has these two little arrows pointing up. So like you can see them there, these two little pointing arrows. So I was trying to find that on the old one, and I can just barely see it here. I don't know if you can see it, but I tried to clean it off. So the arrows point forward towards the front bumper of the vehicle. So I'm going to make sure to install it that way. And I've actually just got a better, I don't know if you can see that. So quite a little play in that guy. There is a 24 millimeter bolt in here. So I'm gonna zip that off with the impact and then replace this carrier bearing. she's smoking. So here's what's gone on. I could not get this yoke off the drive shaft. It's really on there. I think this is the original carrier bearing. So it was really on there. It is really on there. And so what I did is I heated it with just a little propane torch. Just this guy. It's like a little plumber's propane torch. It's a very cheap torch. It got it hot, and then I just kept spraying in some lubricant, some PB Blaster, and let it sit and heat it up again. And I have this old steering wheel puller. So I've just put it on here, and it's actually doing the job. It's slowly, as I tighten this bolt, it's slowly pulling this yoke this way, and that's good. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this has to be in line, like it has to go on in the same way. So I just made some marks to kind of carry over the. So I'll put it back on in the same place, but this needs to come off to get the carrier bearing off. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on. I'm gonna keep yanking it and continue to pull it off. So it's come way off. You can see as I tap it, it's just sliding. It's off. It's done. So I'm gonna need, yeah, it's off. So I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. So I'm gonna put this down. Oh, maybe I don't. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna put it down just because I know it's hot. And now we're all opened up. Okay, so the carrier bearing like cover is off, and now this like center bearing is like stuck on there. So I've flipped the axle so it's vertical. I sprayed some PB Blaster in there, and I'm just gonna let that sit for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna whack on it a whole bunch with a hammer and try and pop it off. Okay, so she's smoking again, and you know why? So I put the torch to it again, and just tapped it with the hammer, and that got it off. So there it is. Oops, that got it off. There it is. It's definitely old and not happy. Woo! But it's hot. Holy smokes. So anyway, there we go. I'm gonna clean this all up, let it cool down, and then put on the new one. So carrier bearing is on. I got my marks. I got my little yoke here, and so I'm just gonna line up these things as best as I can. I think that's pretty good. I greased the shaft inside, and I also cleaned it really well. So now I'm just gonna try and squish this down and get the bolt on the end of it. So I've been at this for about, I would say 30 minutes to separate this, to heat it up, to spray it down with some lubricant, to replace everything and put it all back together. It's about 30 minutes. So what have I done? I put this yoke back on. I put the center bearing on. The arrows are pointed towards the front of the vehicle. This is much snugger. It's really nice. I'm really glad I did this. This center bolt here, basically this bolt squishes this whole assembly together. Online it says torque it down to 134 foot-pounds. Back it off, so that lets it basically squish everything together. Then back it off and tighten it again to 51 foot-pounds. So that's what I've done. So it's torqued, it's ready to go. I also cleaned everything as I went. And so now I'm just going to go through the same process, put these little, put this U-joint back together, align the Zerk fittings in the drive shaft, and yeah, I should be home free. Okay, so this has taken now, I guess, about 3 hours total. It's all done. Yeah, it came out okay. So I'm really happy I did this. I've been meaning to do it for a while, but I just have been putting it off. So I'm glad to do it, because as I was pulling the old parts off, they were pretty nasty. So anyway, this is good. It's right before winter right now, and I really don't want to be doing this in, you know, February when it's freezing out. So I'm really glad I did it now. And I'll just clean up a little bit and bolt it all back. All right, so I did a little shakedown run with the new drive shaft bearings and the carrier bearing, and man, it drives a lot smoother. I didn't realize how crummy it was before, but now with the new parts in it and some fresh grease, oh my God, it feels great. So anyway, easy job. Billy was happy to do it with me. Anyways, cheers, guys.